Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League presented by WTRL. We're out on the Glasgow Crit course for only 15K today, but from every report I've heard so far, it was one of the hardest 15K that some of the athletes we've seen out there have ever had. One of my coached athletes had a second best all-time 20-minute power. So essentially, it was a threshold effort, but how are you doing a threshold effort with just 2 sprints every lap? So to give you an idea of how hard they're going over the top of the Clyde kicker through the champion sprint, that's what they're hitting up every lap for 5 laps. Dave, the ladies have gotten out on course. We'll get a replay real quick here of what just happened for the first sprint. But any thoughts up front? And a big shout out to Kate Bates, who is in chat. I just saw she's
right
posted
on.
over to me in WhatsApp a big FOMO for missing out. She's no, you're not missing out. You're hanging out here with you, Kate. Good to see you in chat.
Kate is one of the highest quality people I've ever met in my life. Good to know you're out there, Kate. We always follow along. I love her podcast, The Wheelhouse, by the way. Highly encourage everybody to go watch. So I think Kate would have liked the course today back in her prime. The former world champion would have been all about these points, and that is the format. I mean, Nathan, it's chaotic, absolute pandemonium out there when you think about it. I would imagine, it's tricky, as you said, to get a 20-minute power on a course like this, but ultimately that the fire burning inside is at an all-time high with our athletes. This has been a great season, and get ready for a Donnybrook out here today. So these sectors, really the name of the game for me, Nathan, has been FTS, fastest through segments out here. We can talk about FAL. That's really straight ahead. That's a 10 deep preem sprint basically that happens out there. But these FTSs, that's where the tactical masterminds really click in with the physiological element of the racing to create the dynamic that we love so much out here.
Well, we've got 2 sprints up so far. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, though, at how things played out the first time around on these sprints. Well, let's right now, immediately after the first one, the second sprint with the Clyde kicker, the ladies are rolling around toward the end of their first lap. We'll get the points up in just a second here. Things are already starting to splinter. We've got 61 ladies out here. We'll take a look at the league standings here in just a moment as well. But a little bit of a push off the front right from the get-go as, that's kind of new. That's just a really long name that's rolling across the top of our screen there. That's interesting. Cool to see. I like it, though. We get a full idea of who exactly is doing what. As it is, AHDRL ladies, though, starting to jump off the front, looks like, as we hit this downhill. Does this have a name? Dave, that's one of the things I like it that a lot of these sections of the course out in Glasgow have a lot of great names to them. I'm not sure that we've named that one, though. I think it would if we went in the other direction very often.
Yeah, so you got the Clyde kicker. That's the Clyde slide, I'd say, when you're coming down it.
There
right?
we go. That's actually a really good one right off the bat there, Dave. He grabbed a pretty good one line. That's what he's good at. That's for sure.
That's what I'm here for, people. So, Nathan, actually, I have to say that just through the racing earlier today, I haven't had a ton of experience. I mean, we've been using courses here in Scotland and Glasgow for a while, but just watching the racing, the dynamic, and I think the fact that rather than a scratch race, a points race is really the way you want to do it out here for the best racing dynamic, not only for our racers, but for our spectators as well.
Lincoln on the front now, as you can see. Lupo now starting to make her way to the front. A little bit of a kick now, and Whitaker trying to take over. Whitaker here, nice little arrow power up as she comes in the final 200. Is she going to hold on? Gino, crush it. Cassandra Rush. Nope. Whitaker holding on. Dave, it's so difficult to come around when the speeds get high there. It just is. Like, we're learning over and over again. Go early in Zwift now. It's completely different from what it used to be. It used to be go late, wait till the final 200, fly through 50 avatars at a gazillion miles per hour. And now, though, Dave, it is mainly about getting the jump, hanging onto the right wheel. You better be in the draft or you're not coming around anybody.
Yeah, it's interesting, Nathan, because you really condition yourself to exactly what you were saying. You realize, like, wow, the tendency is to go early. It's the riders who are patient and save it for that last explosion that seemed to be successful racing here on Zwift, but not there That's for sure. Time after time today, we've seen exactly what you're saying. The rider that gets out in front of it. I guess the thing is, Nathan, is yeah, it's a pretty straight ahead tactic, but you have to be able to back it up with the physicality. It's not something that's easy to do, but it's easy to understand.
hmm Now, real quickly, let's take a look at the current standings. This is where things are at with Aeonian Blasian Ciclistas at the top of this league so far. ATP Racing Honeybees, it's going to be then Synergy Fuse, Dutch Diesel, Atomic Methane, the Dino B Juicers are there in fourth place. Now, we got a little of a punch off the front from Synergy. They're in third place currently in the league standings, as you can see, and it is going to be Lincoln. Now they're making another move. Interesting bike choice here from Lincoln. Not really about the speed, it looks like. That's on purpose, too. That Imonda mixed with those wheels, Dave, those
It's a
are...
light bike.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Maybe thinking that the lightweight on the Clyde kicker is what she's all about here as Lincoln makes her way to the front.
I get it. I 100% get it. So, yeah, and it's working for the Synergy rider right now. So it's going to be an interesting day. But look at this. Here they come, trying to close it down. Is she going to make it? It's going to be close.
Ooh, she did. She did it.
Yeah.
I thought she was
Nice
getting
job.
caught for sure. That was very well done. As it worked out for her. You know, I was going to criticize the bike choice, but you can't criticize a winner. And she just took that one down.
Yeah, I agree, actually. So well done there. That'll be more points being distributed. I don't think the FTS is going to go her way, but certainly the FAL is. Looks like that Sisu jersey getting active up on the front. It's nice to see a familiar name there as well. Yvonne Timewell is back with us in this field, but it is getting rough out here. Look how they've strung out the group, Nathan. We've talked about how downhills are the new uphills as far as active racing goes. Riders attack with old school fury, and that's what we were seeing. Nice to see Carolyn Jones racing today as well. She's been with us I'm going to guess that Carolyn's been racing going all the way back through the original season, but nice to see the strong woman out of Austin, Texas, recently married. Congratulations.
Now back down the Clyde slide. I'm just going to take full
I like
advantage of that one from now on. I love it. Clyde kicker into the slide. I feel like I'm at a water park. Like we're this is the middle of the summer. We're not in Zwift. We're not in Zwift land racing our bikes. It's the middle of the summer. We're all in shorts and bathing suits here on the Clyde slide. Now as the riders take a left-hand turn, here's the kick. Lou Bates' kick here, though, is usually what we call this coming into the final after last Thursday.
It was right here, right there was when Lou just went absolutely ballistic.
Look at summertime at the top here, though. That's Diesel. They are showing up. And if you take a look, I think if we can, maybe I'll see if I can get a side-by-side of these points currently and how they stand. But Dave, this is definitely what they need to do right now because the current standings for them are definitely not showing something similar to what we are seeing on the screen here. They're in fourth place right now. So they do need to do exactly this when it comes to the points out here. Tim Wildau making a move, it looks like, to the front. We'll see if we can get our images correct here. It looks like I think she was able to take that down, actually. Nice sprint there coming from Timwell. Christina White now also there. Is she... What's the kit there for Timwell? Is she... That's going to be a Dinos kit. It's similar. It looks really similar. For a moment there, I was like, are we watching the A category? Because it looks so similar to the 2024 kit.
It does. She's Aeonian today, as far as the team that she's
you're correct there.
For.
My
Right.
bad. I saw a drafting dyno at the same section of the course there. So, I don't know if everybody can tell, but we definitely have a little bit of an update on the Zwift that we have here. So we're in with the new colors that have been upgraded to the world of Zwift. If you can see a little extra color on the broadcast, it is because we do have a new build, which I'm super excited about and see.
You deserve it. You really deserve these tools. I'm so happy. This is new since the last broadcast that we did.
Yeah, earlier this afternoon. So that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
See. Good to see. And
good to see
everyone
Cassandra
is
Rush.
Loading in, which is good to see as well.
So cool.
There was a little hiccup, I think, across all of Zwift this afternoon, for those who are wondering what might have happened in the earlier broadcast. And they fixed it pretty quick, though. I think it took about an hour. And then, that happens in the world of gaming sometimes. Luckily, it's really not as often. It's not as often, actually, as other games, Dave. Like, there'd be times when like, you're paying a subscription to World of Warcraft and you're not logging in for like days sometimes, like where it's just like there's
Right.
just things are broken all the time. So um it's done a pretty good, it's been really, really consistent, which is really great.
Yeah, there's a real intense passion to keep Zwift up and running. And yeah, you can really feel that nobody is going to rest until things are running smoothly. Now we go back and take a look at the aforementioned Carolyn Jones up on the front here, and she is charging. It's going to be Yvonne, though, coming up and over the top. Now, let's see if the Aeonian rider is going to be able to hold on. This is going to be Alicia as well, the Dino Beat Juicers. What a ride she's having today.
Yeah, nice ride by the Dinos here. Dinos in the past, when it comes to the Dino team, I would have said perhaps C category, D category, and maybe mid B category, but they have really stepped it up as of recently, I think, and they have shown up to race at a really high level. Being able to take down sprints amongst this crew is no joke here, David. It's really great to see the Dinos here showing up and being in that top 5, taking some top sprints here. It's amazing to see from them. Top 5 right now, currently in the standings. We'll see how this ends up playing out, though, after the day today, because in the points right now, they're doing pretty well to keep themselves in contention.
This is, when you look at it, one of the most cohesive groups that we have racing out here. There is so much depth. These women really benefit by just the quality of the field that they get to race in, and I know that they absolutely love it. Let's take a look at the points now very quickly. FAL, first across the line. 10 places. It goes from 10 down to 1 point. FTS is a little more complicated than that. It starts at 20, and it doesn't just go 1 point at a time down to 1. There's also 10 riders that will score there. So at this point now, you can see that summertime is in fuego as the Australian rider there with 47 total points, just one ahead of Whitaker there, Jamie Whitaker, the Aeonian rider. It's going to be Gino sitting with third most points, actually tied at second there with Whitaker. So kind of similar to what we saw earlier today, Nathan, with one team really getting out in front of things early. But the story there was how slowly but surely over the final 3 laps, the other teams really started to take advantage of the fact that the teams going out hard early are pretty tapped out on a course. Even though it's only 15 kilometers of racing, this is some of the most intense 15K that we see. And here goes Yvonne again.
Yeah, Timwell making another move, but it's going to be Chris here. Now it's Honeybee. C. Jones, actually. Jones! Again, Dave. ATP
Yeah,
Honeybeans. She is doing so well. This is a name to watch out for, Dave, and you called it. Some in real life experience you're bringing to the table as well from what you were saying. So great to see.
Carolyn Nee DeFore, she and her husband, they were married this year, but they met racing. It's a great story. She rides for the United team down there in Texas, which is really, don't sleep on that team. It's one of the coolest things going right now in American women's racing. It's a group of really strong women that are starting to get a national reputation going. So Carolyn Jones is going to be one tough rider to deal with this year. If she's got this kind of form in November, working hard, wait until Pace Bend in February. She'll be out there soloing away.
Thanks for the information there. Actually, that's why I didn't recognize the name. I recognized the foreign name, but didn't know about the name change. So appreciate the shout out there. So,
well, it's like, what was Gabriella's name? I do remember, but now she's Gabby Guerra, right?
It was during there was a guy with the name earlier today in the broadcast.
Was there a Schumann out there?
There was a Schumann out there today in the broadcast earlier. Yep. So it made me think of it right away, actually. Now we do have 2 races going on actually at the same time. The men's race, they're 3.6K in. We'll try and get some replays of what was going on there. There was a lot of flurry already up front on their race. They're making their way over toward their second Clyde kicker. We're going to focus in on the sprint here, though, coming in for the women as they make their way up and over the top of this climb. But we'll get those points in for the men's side of things as well for America's East B in just a moment. Now back up to the front of this pack, though. It looks like, from what I can see, Crush It now making a move toward the front. But again, if you leave it late, Dave, the riders are learning quickly. It doesn't work any longer. And those who have learned this, Dave, they are succeeding because of it. They are getting out in front of it. You can't just roll through this pack anymore. And now B Juicers here, Licia Alicia? Oh, it's Alicia with the A.
Alicia. There you go.
Yeah, well, there's
Just
an
as you were
A
saying it.
and
Yeah.
then the dot, and I'm like, is there a first name and then last name? But I think she's doing that on purpose. There. I'm going to
It's
say it's Alicia.
yeah, and on Zwift Power, it is Alicia. So good
Ah,
job there,
okay.
Nathan. Nice work,
Gotcha.
my friend. Okay, and I did want to correct myself. It's Jesse Whitaker. I'm not sure why I said Jamie. There actually no another Jamie Whitaker is why, but Jesse Whitaker shouting you out, the Revo rider who's doing a great job riding up on the front today.
Devoita, Gino now also there as well. Lincoln now again from Synergy closing down gaps. A couple of falling off the back now here, Dave. So things obviously really getting difficult the last half of this race. We got about a lap and a half to go now at this point. Synergy now making their way to the front. They're going to be in that Zwift kit with the light blue and white black on the back there. We do see the Revo rider also making a way to the front as well. Who is that in a Revo kit? That is going to be Murchison. I'm not familiar with this rider. That's actually a name I haven't seen toward the front a whole while, but her teammate Whitaker also there as well. So they've got two to work with perhaps to make some moves. And I have a feeling some conversations going to be happening now at this point about what people are going to be doing, if there's going to be some late attacks or if it's just going to be about punches to the line because they've only got three chances from here on out. It's 3 opportunities. That's it, Dave, in order to grab any kind of points on course now.
It is insane how quickly this race goes by. It's 3K per lap out here. Actually, this group is relatively large, all things considered, and this is just going to become frenetic at this point. The little bit of calm that you have right now, might as well put as much charge onto your battery as you can because I have a feeling that Yvonne right now, see the Aeonian rider sitting on the back of the group with Jesse Whitaker as well. Well, this is why you don't want to do that, though, as it looks like riders are going to start attacking off of the front. So left, right, center, no matter where you look, we've got action out here as we head into the final lap of racing. So 5 of 5 going to be underway here now.
A little bit of
All on the
timidness,
line.
it felt like to me there before they really
That
gave
was the
any
first
kind of
time.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
nobody really
interesting.
up front. I mean, Synergy was there once again toward the front, but
Cristina Perez, the
yeah,
Brazilian,
Perez
getting
took it
top
down
points.
pretty easily there. It seemed. Well, I mean, I don't want to downplay anything, but
Yeah,
I mean that was fairly just a little
unchallenged.
kick to the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like she was in the right place and realized that if I could just stomp on these pedals a little more here, I'm going to pick up top points for my team. And that team is Aeonian that we're talking about. Aeonian is like the British Empire. The sun never sets on that team. They race around the globe. And this is going to be, again, we're in with our bees here. Last lap, Nathan's got the men up as well. It's really been the story of the day. I don't know that we've had a day, Nathan, where if you took your eye off the screen, you were behind the 8 ball immediately. It has been nonstop action
I'm
here in
not kidding,
Scotland.
Dave. Not kidding, Dave. I literally was like just thinking in my head that I need to like click these avatars like I'm clicking an FPS shooter at this point. Like I'm not kidding. Like I was like,
Yeah.
this feels like playing Apex a little bit right now. Pop, 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 pop. Like just trying to make sure I'm hitting every one of these as best as I possibly can, paying as much attention as I can. We do have some lap riders here on the women's side of things, as you can see, maybe getting caught out here. Lincoln leading things out again as they start to make that charge toward the Clyde kicker that we were just seeing. The men on the right hand side of your screen, they've got 2 laps down. They're starting their third now out there as they make their way around almost the exact same section of course that these ladies are starting right now. We'll jump back in with them, but they're starting to get a little bit of separation there in the men's side of things. Back in with the ladies as they finish this things up. The current point standings as it is, we'll get an update on these as we do update them. It is Perez who's, wow, Perez, Whitaker, what is going on here? Big points
So
later in this race.
She has finished first or second in every single sprint that's happened out there. Look at those points that she's collected in the first FAL. That is bananas, Christina. Great job out there today. Tied with Jesse Whitaker on points. Jesse also taking advantage of both FAL and FTS out here. So she's got a few more points in that fastest through segment. So, and then Alicia Trevino there at 61 points, just one ahead of Yvonne Timewell. I think it's really interesting, Nathan. This is the B women, and I recognize every single name in our top 10 here. And actually see that Carolyn DeFore, that's Jones in 8th place there. It's just in one place she's got her name changed, but not everywhere. So There's another good reference point for us. But that says a lot when you've got a B field that every rider in this group is a star.
100%. That tells us a lot about how often they come to race and how much focus
Exactly.
we've been able
They're
to
putting
have
in their
on
time.
this specific category, Dave. This America's East, they really do put on a show for everybody. Absolutely love it from the women here. Now, Dave, we do got Synergy on the front again. That seems to be their motto, Dave. But does it pay off for them? Is going to be the big question here, because I think a lot of times we see this, but I think that Lincoln just likes to
Heather
be.
Lincoln.
She just likes to be the carrot that they have to chase, and other teams having to do the work. Then,
yeah, channeling her inner Kolchinsky here. It seems like when the road goes up, she's quite a climber. We talked about her bike choice here. There's nothing about her that doesn't scream out, "Let's climb."
quickly now to the line is what she's thinking. Hole now coming on over the top. That's her teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Using an early feather power up, but that's the best place to be using it. But if you don't attack with it, it doesn't really get you much of anywhere. We're coming into the last 500 meters now. Going to be a left-hand turn, last kick to the line. Who's going to go? If you go too early, you're going to get swarmed too late. You can't come around here, Dave. All about the timing on this punch. The fire starter's going. Timwell, maybe. Is she going to be able to hold on? No, I think it's actually going to be Spicy Bunch. Spicy Bunch going to make it to the line. No, it's Gino. Our Gino. Nice one. Getting the better of Firestarter Raves here. That is going to be Gino. Who is our Gino? That's the big question I've got.
That's new to
right
me
now.
Yeah, Dutch Diesel Cycling. We've learned that Dutch Diesel is a coaching service, and they've been very, very active out here. But that one is done and done. Nice job, ladies. So we'll take a look at
the
how
results
those points
in just a minute here, Dave. But I really want to make sure that we're getting the second half of this men's race, because I know that they're showing up to get some viewing here, and it's been nonstop mayhem over here on this men's side of things. Wendell off the front, actually. This attack, I'm gonna try and figure out when this went, because this is an all-in move, and this is, I think, before they even hit that champion sprint. I'll double check that on the replay though.
All right, so men's Bs, they started at half past the hour. They're already now into the penultimate lap here. So here we go. Wendell on the front. Looks like Swami's, that's a team out of Southern California. As we move into racing at this time of day, you see a lot more of the American and Canadian flags here. As we take a look at the peloton about to make the catch. So they're going to hit the reset button now with just over 5K of racing out here, but Grupo Compacto at this point.
Yeah, Wendell now caught, it looks like. We'll see if he got any points on the FALs for that in just a moment as well. The current standings we'll have here, but it looks like I have a feeling the Dirty Ducks, always really one to be watching out for. Ned Bowen is out here as well. Always one to watch out for. Draft, big name here. The Rhinos are here. Coalition, OTR, the classics when it comes to the Americas, that's for sure. All the power-ups now being blasted. I do see a draft rider now making their way to the front. That's going to be C. Jansen, I believe, as well as BB from CLS. CLS, the green and black, quickly, they came out of nowhere. I saw them nowhere near the front. Suddenly, 1, 2, 3, 3 riders across. 1, 2, 3 for the points there. CLS dominating that Clyde kicker.
Wow, that's how you do it, folks. Putting on a clinic here in Glasgow right now is Team CLS. Nathan, if you went back and about halfway up the kicker, there's a moment there where the rider on the front, his power up has expired. Every other rider has deployed their power up, and you just see him drop through that peloton like a bowling ball kicked into an elevator shaft. I mean, he just goes plummeting down through the group, and it really, that would be the meme there to show you how effective these power-ups are, especially when they're timed perfectly on a course like this. That's the gamification that makes this Zwift racing so much fun.
Really is, and the timing there from CLS, obviously well planned, well done. pure power coming on through, and those guys absolute monsters to come through with all three of them at the top, sweeping
They
those
cracked the
podium
code.
points. And now, quickly on the Bs here, let's see where things are standing. AAVC are the ones to be watching out for at the top there, the Swamis. It is Draft B and the RR Rapid Rivals. On the Rivet Boost, Team F3, HDR Bison, the Dirty Ducks, then Coalition Source. Team CLS all the way down in 9th, Dave. With that sprint, though, I think they've showed up going, look, we're the big sprinters here. We're the ones coming to show up today and take the win, because that was absolute domination for those FALs. We'll double check, though, on what the points are, because you could have one like that, but it doesn't tell you the entire story all the time. So we'll see if that's actually how it's gone the rest of the race here. Moving forward, it does look like, we've got to back this up just a little bit here, but it does look like we do have one off the front. See if we can find who that is here. Is it going to be a hoodlum?
So AAVC, the Swamis team, coming into this one with top points, but you get the feeling this could be a very disruptive finale that we've got here. Taking a look at a bunch of the draft riders now as they're galloping, and the biggest danger team out here as we are now at that moment. There's the Korean flag for Kim, the Rhino rider, and everybody's going to be hearing the bell ringing. It's one to go.
Ziegler actually was off the front. My apologies, I'm unable to get that. Some of our new
So he'll
tools,
get those
some of our
points.
new tools are so cool that I was having difficulty making sure that I could find. This is actually kind of cool. I'm going to show everybody what we can do. We can like work our way through the pack in such a way that, like, from one rider to the next, if we put the camera correct, this is pretty cool. If you do have the new tools and you are one of the broadcasters out there that get
from
that
island
have them,
to island.
yeah, just jump from island from rider to rider, island to island, like you
That's
were
cool.
saying. It's a pretty cool feature, actually. So
Nice to see that Korean flag, Nathan. As I was saying, it generally, because of the time of day, most of our European friends are nicely asleep, I would hope, at this point. And you do start getting some of the early rising Asian folks that want to race with us here, as they're really quickly, there we go, picking up the last lap now. We're back with Team CLS. They've been really strong. Let's see how much they can move up. Obviously, season didn't start the way they wanted, as they're sitting in 9th place, but they got a lot of room to move up now. We'll see if they can take advantage of that. This is the second of 6 races here in race number 2.
early move from
And
Coalition.
power up time.
Yeah, hitting the Clyde kicker for the final time. Arsenal here now to the front. Nice feather power up. Will he be able to hold on? Here comes Jansen again from draft. Adams is there as well. Where's Team CLS? That's my question, because I'm watching out for them to try and really take this one down today. And it's going to be Stevens now making a move for that. He's going to grab that easily with a full bike length, actually, as right behind them. Brockens and Arsenal there as well. That's going to be second and third.
Unlike some riders earlier today, Stevens seems to know exactly where that finish line is as well, as he pulls the pin, not doing any extra work, saving himself for finale. Heads up racing, right?
Yep. Heads up race for sure. Now, let's see where the points are at. We'll see if we can get these points up here in just a second.
Hey.
Sorry, everybody, on the wait on those, but
No worries. As you're doing that, you can see a little bit of a reshuffling as riders who are going for those FAL points are able to take a deep breath, and then the charge comes from the riders who are really all in for the finish line points. And as Nathan brings up the screen, we can talk. Here's
Kim
an attack going.
Kim going. Yeah. That's a real attack. That might be able to stick. We'll see if we can get eyes on that.
That's for
Rhino.
the 40. Yeah, so 40, 35, 30, those are the points for the top 3 at the finish line, to give you some perspective on the points we're looking at now. As if you win this race at the finish line, you'll get half as many points as Jay Seddon has earned so far, and that's been a tough road to hoe to get there. FAL points at 75, so Seddon has been phenomenal in our sprints out here today, but this ride from Kim, Nathan, this has got all of my attention right now.
He might get nabbed, though. We'll see.
It looks like a bit of spot of bother. Let's see what he can do. He's redoubling now. We're talking about around 600 meters to the finish line. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, and if those have any hangs on the end of those, if those have hangs on those watts, he'll get a DQ.
Yeah,
If
that's
the
the problem.
if there's a hang on those watts there with the way he's riding, he may get a DQ. We'll see if that ends up sticking for him though. But he is going to get caught either way, so it's not going to matter. All the way to the line here, Wendell, is he? Well, maybe not. Kim now, one last sprint. Wendell's not gonna right
Oh
there,
my.
nipped him at the line, but Wendell's not even going to be able to do it, as it's going to be Ziegler over the top.
Well, so there's your top three coming through for the points. Men's B's here. That was some great racing. No question about it. These guys left it all out on the course. I don't know, Nathan. I know a lot of folks coming into this were questioning 15K, 5 laps seems so short. I feel like they got it right.
Well, I mean,
I
I liked it.
understand.
I liked it a lot when we raced 10. I did like the 10. 10 was a
It's
lot,
a
but I'm
completely different bike
it's a
race
totally
at 10.
different bike race. Like, well, you try. You know what is kind of different about it is what one thing that is different about it, Dave, I think, is that we do have the reality of the start's kind of the same and the way you want to race it is the same, and eventually you just can't. Like your plans that I'm
At
just gonna
some
keep
point,
attacking, I'm just gonna keep pushing. Eventually everyone just ends up settling down. That's just the reality. Like, so you kind of try and race it the way you race the 5, and then it just says no more. Sorry. Your body gives in.
you keep lowering that bucket down into the watt well, and eventually it comes up half full, and then it comes up a quarter full, and you're like, all right, no more of those. Now I'm into survival mode to get to the finish. And that's the thing about a great course like Glasgow is it will make racers get outside of themselves as far as doing things, maybe taking risks and seeing if I don't know, maybe I can find some magic out here. That seems to be the theme of Glasgow every time we race.
Yeah, and one thing for sure on these courses, when they're a little longer like that, there's a huge reward for maybe not challenging if you can
Being
stay and hang in the
conservative,
back and being conservative, because people
right?
blow up so much. And even your really, really strong riders that are taking down those sprints every single lap as much as they can, you get into lap 6 and 7, and if you have conserved just for the win all the way through and that's your ace, you can really have a pretty solid ace up your sleeve to make a move. But there's a big sacrifice there, because really, if it's a points race, Dave, there is so much motivation to go for each and every one of them.
You keep watching those points, the tally going out and out and out. It gets harder and harder to stay patient and trust in your process of knowing you'll be stronger for the big points at the finish. That right there, in a nutshell, is bike racing.
100%. Well, let's see if we got some points that have come in here. You know, I didn't see early on. I think Ned Bowen was doing a whole lot of work, but I am seeing that he took on a ton in that last race that we were just watching. Let's though jump in here and get some of the ladies. Let's see what they've had for their overall points here. This is the A category, actually. Let's jump over to the B's, as we did add that on the broadcast. And it was top points going to Jesse Whitaker, Dave. Great to see the Evo Divas. That's a huge one for them.
Yeah, boy, look how she did it. Really across the board there. FTS strong, FAL really strong, and at the finish, she was fourth place. So, Jesse, ride of the day from Jesse Whitaker of the Revo Godivas today, Alicia Trevino. So, to be clear here now, this isn't how they placed at the finish line. This is on total points earned today. And Alicia Trevino of the Dinos B Juicers with 102 points right there with Jesse. We've only seen 3 riders all day going over 100 points. So great job, ladies. Yvonne Timewell in at third, and her teammate Cristina Perez, the Brazilian, in at fourth. So that's very nice for the Blazing Ciclistas of Aeonian. Third and fourth today for Yvonne and Cristina. Randy Gino, there's a name to remember. She's going to be a player in Zwift racing, the DDC automatic methane, atomic methane, I'm sorry there, as Katie Candeloro of ATP Racing Honeybees in sixth today. It's Melissa Tilburn for the Golden Girls in seventh. Summertime. Good to see her still out here crushing it. The Dutch Diesel Cycling Atomic Methane Rider in eighth. Carolyn Jones of ATP Racing Honeybees in ninth. And then crush it, Cassandra Rush, DDC in 10th on overall points. The riders will all take those points and go back to the team, put them into the pile, and we'll see who goes the highest on a day like today. It kind of looks good for Aeonian Blazing Ciclistas, but there's not enough data to make that call.
Yeah, not quite yet, but we'll see how it ends up playing out. I mean, I'd loving to see though that things are getting closer and closer though between them, because I think that the Ciclistas kind of walked away in the past here, at least this last round in this season.
It's going to be a good
to
season.
see that it's a closer season here. Dave, Ned Bowen at the top there for draft though. That's going to change things up a little bit, I think. Well, the standings, it was the Swamis versus draft at the top, and I'm not seeing the Swamis a whole lot in that top spots.
I see 3 draft Bs. So I think you make a great point. Looks like they had their day, doesn't it? With Ned Bowen there on top of the table with 88 points on the Rivet OTR Boost Rider. Daniel Manalo in second with 72. Then we go back to draft B and Joe Thomas with 67 points. It stacks up like cordwood right here with Jeremy Ziegler of the Swamis team. He's their first rider, AAVC Swamis, to put points up on the board. And then Team CLS Big Rigs with Jacob Clancy and James Stevens there, 5th and 6th. Tim Kim, that late race attack for the RR Rapid Rhinos rider, has him with the 7th most points out here. Race winner was Jeremy Ziegler today. Tim Kim in 7th. Wendell Egeloff of the Team USMES B1. He'll have the 8th most points. Kurt Jansen for draft B in 9th. And then Craig Brackens rounds out our top 10 on points out here for ATP Racing Neon. That's our Bs today here in Glasgow.
I think that's going to be what we can handle out here today. The new build is absolutely awesome. Really, really loving it. Its ability to jump across categories, though, has a little bit more trouble. And I know that's a big one for everybody. And I really appreciate that everybody really wants to see. But to give you an idea of how things, you can't always get what you want. You get what you need. And for some reason, we ended up over here. I started trying to find people, and I don't even know where we are.
Where are we?
we're not in the crit course any longer. No, we're in the other pens that are over by the castles, or on the Ocean View area where that other UCI banner is. So I'm not sure exactly. Like, I started using some of the methods to get into some of the other pens, and this isn't the broadcast tool. This is the fan viewing alongside the broadcast tool. So I think something causes some sort of confusion there sometimes, where I all of a sudden I'm in those. I'm like, and it says America's East though still. Like on the board. Anyways, one of our jobs is to find all the bugs. That's one of our jobs. That's literally.
I think today we did. Yeah.
So good stuff, though. Well, hey everybody. B category is what we were able to cover today. I know it's a short broadcast, and we'll be back. Is next week already a team time trial? It is already. We've got a team time trial next week. I'm racing a team time trial actually this week on the
Thursday.
Same course. Actually, Watopia, is it Watopia Waistband? I believe it is. So, gonna be a tough one. I actually got full on dropped last week by my team, but it's because I hadn't ridden my bike in 3 weeks. I had my legs were so done, absolutely done after the first 2 pulls. So, but we've been able to do a little bit of racing, so it'll be fun. That's just to say, as a reminder, that we have kind of these warm-up races or these preview races with the Zwift Grand Prix that you can go watch on Zwift's channels. We saw very similar races actually to what we saw last week in the women's Zwift Grand Prix. It was almost like you could map them with the way that things played out. So it's a great way to figure out how to do these races when you can see the top end of the sport doing it, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Repetition is the mother of learning, as they say, and the amount of time that the riders have been spending doing their recon work and preparing has really paid off.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with the BL13 series, fast back-to-back racing. We'll be live with that around noon Central Time, and then obviously Zwift Grand Prix, and then the wrap coming at you this Thursday. If you're an American though, and obviously this is around the Americas, you can join the Echelon Racing League. We're only about a week and a half out from the Echelon Racing League. That is going to be a Saturday league that you can get into, and it is a qualifier for the U.S. National Championships. The cool thing about Echelon Racing League is it's an entire Saturday morning of amateur racing for men and women, followed up by elite racing for men and women. So we'll be having 4 events actually covered every Saturday for the entirety of the series. The first 3 are before national championships, and the last set of 3 are after national championships. So that starts December 2nd. Make sure to go check that out, Echelon Racing League. You can go over to the Zwift Community Live website to find links to that, or search them up, and you can find the ability to get into them. Super excited because we're doing all the coverage of that here. So everybody, from Dave and I, head on over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com to get everything that's going on for this week. We really appreciate you all tuning in. And as always, right on.